Hi, you guys. I don't know if it's working. Here we go. Let's see. I feel like Facebook is always changing how everything looks, so just give me a second. But I think we're good. Okay. Hi. Yeah, I feel like we're good. So let's get into it. Say hello. Oh, there's my dog. Like every time I start talking, he's like, wait a minute, are you talking to me? So he's gonna hang out with us. Anyways, hi everyone. Welcome to this masterclass. Let me pull up my notes because I have a lot to share with you. Yeah, say hello as you're hopping on. I will keep an eye on the comments. Also, if you're on the replay, of course, let me know how you're doing. How is your holiday season? How is your New Year's? What are your intentions? Tell me all the things. So, I actually planned to do this masterclass last Monday, but I was super sick. And you can still hear it a little bit. I have had a sinus infection. So here we are today. Thank you for being flexible if you planned on being there last week. But here we are, and it's going to be even better than I planned. So let's get into it. I'll do a little intro. And then we're going to talk about the 3 steps to your next high ticket client. Okay. So I'm Maggie. For those of you new to my world, I'm a life and business coach. I am very devoted to feminine leadership, which is really about how we can integrate our feminine and masculine energies in the way that we do business, right? And in the way that how we show up in life. And I help my clients turn their purpose into profitable businesses. So, which is exactly what I have done over the last 5 years or so that I've been in business. I started out my entrepreneurial journey as a virtual assistant. So, I've seen a lot of behind the scenes in all kinds of different businesses, from just working with clients, right, as a VA. And I transitioned into coaching and consulting. And that really gives me this unique perspective of what works, what doesn't, why it's important to have a blend of mindset and strategy and not just one or the other, right? Especially for feminine focused women and heart centered service providers, which you all are. And that's what I'm here to help you see as well. So I'm currently almost 6 months pregnant with our first baby. We're having a girl. I'm in the baby room right now. My desk is still here, so I have to give up my my office space a little bit, right? But it's totally okay. I'm really looking forward to that next phase of my life where it's going to be even more important to bring in efficiency, right? And just do the shit that actually works to create the results in the easiest way possible, which is really what ease is, right? How can you do the things that really matter the most in the most easeful way possible? It's not always the easiest, but it's the most efficient way, right? Does that make sense? That's a whole other caveat we're not going to get into, but that's what I'm all about. So you're here because you want to sign high ticket clients in your business, right? You want to work with people in a private setting, and you deeply value that intimate relationship that you can build with your clients. That, like, there's just something so special about working with people one on one. It's like this very intimate, vulnerable relationship, right? Where everything is laid out on the table so that it gets sorted through to create the results that your client wants, right? And you are so good at what you do. You just want to help people transform their lives, right? Whatever you are here to do, this really goes for all coaches and service providers. whether you're a health coach, a life coach, relationship coach, feminine energy coach, whatever, fitness coach, consultant, right? And then the whole list of service providers that when you provide a service, you just value that one-on-one time with your clients, right? And you really want to help your people know what you know and live the life that you know they're capable of and is so possible for them, right? And you may be at that point in your business where you are just starting out, or you've been in business for a while. Maybe you still have a side hustle and you really want to go full time, which is totally fine, by the way. You see other coaches online make a lot of money, right? Doing work that they love. They make it seem so easy. And you really want that too, right? You really want that. But it seems like everyone is kind of saying something different when it comes to signing clients. It's almost like there is some kind of secret that you feel you are missing out on, right? Like there is some kind of online business secret society, like I give this example, that you haven't gotten the invitation for. So you're missing out. So you feel like you're missing out on how to actually create the success that you want, right? And of course, that's total bullshit, but we'll get into that. And I wanted to give a little side note on success, okay? I want to share this with you as kind of the introduction into this masterclass, right? Success is such an elusive thing, right? Success, it could mean making $2,000 in your business each month, and that would feel amazing to you. Or it could mean making $20,000 in your business each month, right? It could mean being self-sufficient and having enough time to spend with your family without worrying about anything else, and being able to be present in the moment with them, right? It could mean having free time to travel 5 times a year. It could mean having free afternoons throughout the week so you can go on hikes or meet friends for coffee, whatever, right? So one of the things that is really important to get clear on first is that you know for yourself what success looks like to you. So that it is actually measurable, right, to your standards and not someone else's or some elusive goal that you saw on the internet and you don't truly care much about. Because it's really important that your actions, that the actions that you're taking, which we're going to get into today, that they are fueled by something bigger, right? Your purpose. And that, taking action that way, is how you simplify and streamline, okay? So I want you to get clear on that, like what does success really mean to you, okay? Let's see. Hi guys, I see you here. How are you doing? I feel like there's a little bit of a lag, but I'm really happy you're here. Okay, so what actually happens when you feel like you're still not where you truly want to be, right? What actually happens? You may think that you have to do so many more things, right? Sign up for more courses to learn new skills, get more certifications, rebrand your website, right? Like what goes on within us internally, right, is that we think we have to do all these things to sign clients so that they can find us, right? How can you relate to that? But actually, what you need is more clarity, right? Clarity, being very clear. Because what clarity brings you is this: you know what you want to do each day. You know how to create clients. You know your inner work that you have to do. I say you have to do because it's kind of, in my world, the inner work is a requirement, right? And then when you show up, you're clear on what to say, who to speak to, and all in a way that actually feels good to you, right? Like, little side note, we're not going to go into like icky strategies like cold DMing and all that stuff that I really don't resonate with, and I will never have you do, right? You don't need to do any of that, okay? But let's get back to the clarity piece. When you are clear, when you feel clear, just imagine that. When you feel clear on who you help, what you're here to do, you're clear on your offerings, you're clear on what you want to say, right? Just feel how you show up differently, and feel how you think about your desires so differently too, right? They become so much more reachable, right? Can you feel that difference? Instead of like, oh my God, I need to sign up for more shit, so I learned this and this and this. And instead you're, nope, I'm clear. I know what I'm doing each day, and that's it. Right? So much different. And when it comes to business, it's actually really simple, right? Business is actually really simple. We have an offer, we believe in this offer, we grow our network, and we sell this offer, right? It's super clear and simple. But then why doesn't it feel that way? Because our mind gets in the way. And I know that you know this already, because you've probably been in the self-development world for a while. Like, you know this shit, right? Our mind gets in the way. And what really happens is when our minds are undirected, they're lazy, right? Our brains are very lazy, and they keep on looking for evidence it won't work, for example, unless we train it to look for evidence it is working. And this goes for everything. This goes for business, money, relationships, everything, right? You can apply this to anything. So you may be listening to me right now thinking, well, I'm not clear on any of these things, right? I don't know who to talk to. I don't know what to do each day. And it's good, right? I will help you with that. And also, what is clear? What is already clear to you? You see? Like, just asking that question. I'm pausing for dramatic effect. But this is why it's so important to do the inner work daily and get really intimate with yourself. Because if you can ask yourself different questions and you can coach yourself through that, you're already ahead of the game, right? So when you feel that way, just as an example again, when you feel like, well, I'm not clear on any of those things, what is clear? You probably already know you want to work with blank, right? You probably already know you like to do your marketing this way, right? There are things that are already clear. So what if you focus on that? Okay. So the reason why you may not be where you want to be yet, which is having just truly, when it comes down to it, having that very simplified business model so you don't feel like you're being pulled in all these directions, and signing high-ticket clients, it can be a couple of things. And that doesn't mean that you're doing anything wrong, right? Because you're not. Wherever you are, there's no problem, right? It's not a problem. Truly, it's not, because it's a journey towards what you want, right? And of course, I'm always speaking from my own experiences, so I've been there. There's nothing, you're not doing anything wrong, right? But the first thing is, it could be that you waver, right? You feel super committed and ready to go one day, and then the next day, when it seems like nothing is happening, you want to give up, right? And I call that you're wavering. And what happens when you waver is that you let your emotions run the show. So you only show up when you're inspired and high vibe, right? Which can feel like a roller coaster. And it's not very reliable, right? Because you're doing your business tasks for you that way? Are you doing them for you? Or are you actually wanting to help people, right? That's how you can kind of determine that one. And I'll get to your comments in a second. And the second thing is that clarity piece again, right? You're wavering, and then you don't feel clear. You don't feel clear about your messaging, your positioning, your best fit client, your marketing, right? Your offer, and then most importantly, yourself. And again, this doesn't mean that you have to be clear 100%, right? Not at all. But you want to take action from a clear state of mind, because otherwise, obviously, people are going to feel you're not sure about your work or yourself either, right? And we don't want that. That's like law of attraction, quantum physics 101. And that's really the first thing I do when I start working with clients. Like, what is the offer? What do you want to do? What can you commit to every day when it comes to a business activity and doing the inner work, right? Like, what are those foundational pieces in a way that it feels good and at the same time retrains your brain, right? Which can be uncomfortable, of course. So again, you can ask yourself with that one, what is already clear about any of these things, right? What is already clear about the people you want to work with? What is already clear about how you like to do your marketing, right? What is already clear about you being good at what you do, right? So just some examples to get into a clearer state of mind. Okay, let me read these. Karen says, the insecurities get to me, daily task schedule of other things besides my business. I read a book, Atomic Habits, which talks about habit stacking. Ooh, that sounds really interesting. I'm currently reading Badass Habits by Jen Sincero. To add a few things to my routine and increase my energy will help. So I feel like I'm moving forward. Yeah, Jen Sincero, I read one of her books. She's really good. I'm feeling much better lately. Good. I think I'll also work on some meditation, journaling, healthier eating, exercise. Yeah, I feel like self-care is such a business non-negotiable, right? You want to feel your best self, because the better you feel, and was such a thing for me that, well, can it really be this good, right? Like, can it really be this easy? And coming from my parents always working and arguing about money, and like I always felt like had this belief, I can't talk right now, can it really be this good, right? But that's where that self-care piece comes in, because when you feel your best, that's when you are more in touch with your purpose, and that's when you get to help your people in the best way possible too. So when I work with a coach, I want someone who takes the best care of themselves as possible, right? So yeah, I feel like self-care is such a thing. Mathilda, am I saying your name right? I feel like it's such a Dutch name. I'm from the Netherlands, and I had a friend named Mathilda. I tend to waver a lot. It's exhausting. Yeah, it is really exhausting. And I feel like you're already on the right track by noticing it, right? You're aware of your wavering so that you can redirect. And there's a couple of tools that can really help you with that as well. To get into like the better feeling. What's one thing you could see differently that already feels a little bit better, right? You are! Yeah, Fizz is also a very Dutch name. That is so cool. I love it. We have a half Dutchie with me. I'm so excited. Okay, so let's get into the 3 steps to signing your next high-ticket client, okay? So the 3 steps are, should I tell them up front, or should I just go one by one? We're gonna go one by one. I feel like that's more exciting. Okay, so step number one. What's my dog doing? Step one, having a solid belief and mindset practice. Okay, so this is where that wavering and that clarity piece come in again, right? We've gone over that. And those are just a few examples of why you want to have a solid belief and mindset practice for yourself. And I'm sure we're all in the self-development world, right? We know what this looks like. But I want to give you some examples anyways. Hey, stop. It's like licking his paws. So this could look like every morning having a journaling practice on why you believe you can create the results you want to create, right? Why are you the best coach or service provider for your clients? Like, just write it out for yourself. Why is it possible that you create your desires today? What else is possible today? What else could happen today, right? And these practices, they sound so simple and like, oh, I've heard this before, right? But they are all to stretch your mindset and to work on those foundational beliefs that we want to have in place so we're not wavering. And when we do waver, we can shift ourselves back quickly, and they help us they help us feel more clear, right? We've gone over why that's important. And what this really does is you're playing in the realm of possibility instead of looking at what is right now and what was in the past, right? To base your future results off of. And we want to be in possibility. We want to be in possibility of, ooh, it's like you're flirting with the universe in a way. Like, ooh, what if this would happen, right? It's like this very feminine way of, I see it as manifesting. It's like this very feminine, like playful energy of, ooh, what if that's possible today, right? You want to get into the space of possibility instead of, like I said, basing what could happen for you on what is right now and what happened in the past, right? Does that make sense? And there are so many ways to do this. Like, some people like to dance, some people like to meditate, some people exercise. I like to journal, not too much though, but just like 1 or 2 pages. And that's enough, right? That's fine. But the point of all of them is watching your thoughts and watching your thought patterns and create new ones that better serve you, right? So if you believe, as an example, if you believe that you are swimming in a sea of clients, right? You are going to show up differently. If you believe that your ideal clients are already in your audience, for example, you are going to speak differently when you show up and do your tasks for the day, right? When you believe that you are so good at what you do and you just want to share that with the world, that comes through in how you show up, however you show up. So it's really important, So it's really important to have a solid practice that you can come back to over and over again to make those inner shifts, right? And this is the inner work that is so important and is really the foundational level of everything you do, which is why it's step 1. This always comes first. This makes your actions potent, right? So I want you to play with taking action from the place of, if you already knew for sure that your goal was going to happen, then what would you be thinking? And what would you be doing, right? What would you have to believe? And who would you be? How would you behave differently, right? And that is the inner work piece. So before you this is again how you simplify and scale too. Before you do anything, instead of frantically going out there and doing in that very wavering and unclear energy, What if you did this work first and then show up, right? Can you see how your energy and your whole vibe would just be so much more clear and confident and like, right? That's how you want to take the action. So from there, we can move to step 2. And that is speak to the ready client. Speak to the ready client, right? So with the inner work, you are more clear. You feel more confident. You feel eager and excited to share your gifts with the world, right? And maybe sometimes you don't feel like posting and you go out for a walk in the forest, and that's also beautiful action taking, right? Because you may get a hit of inspiration for something there. Anyways, we won't get into that, but this doesn't mean that you have to show up every time you do the inner work, right? We can have simple practices tasks we do every day. We don't have to show up all the time. Side note. But this is where the action taking comes in, right? This is where you want to express yourself and provide value to your community. You provide value, you grow your community, and you keep doing this, right? And this is where the clarity piece comes in again. Because you are clear, you know who you're speaking to, you know what to say, and you know that your offer is the only and best offer for your clients, right? So as a result, you only speak to the woman who is ready for it right now, right? Your clarity comes through and speaks to that person because there's a different energetic going on when you speak to the woman who is ready or when you speak to the woman who needs to be convinced that coaching is a good investment in the first place. For example, if you are a coach, right? You don't really want to be speaking to the people who won't get it, who need convincing, who don't see the value in coaching, who don't want to invest in themselves, right? Because then your ready client isn't going to resonate with that. And the people who won't get it, right, they still get value from your free content because you're making that valuable, right? Even though you're not directly speaking to them, they still get a lot of value from that. But the woman who is ready to do this thing now, right, who is so done spending another moment in whatever problem she has that you help her solve, that is who you want to speak to, right? That is who you want to work with, right? That's what happens when you're clear on who you want to work with and who to speak to. And this is only one person at a time. So I feel like this simplifies so much, and it's also difficult, but there are some simple tweaks that you can do to make that a little bit easier, right? I feel like a lot of people are sitting down to write their posts or whatever they're doing, and they want to kind of make it for everyone, right? Make it good enough for everyone, so a lot of people resonate with it. But what if you spoke to one person, right? You only want to work with one more person right now, and then you can only sign one person at a time, right? Does that make sense? So how do you speak to this person, right? You really want to ask yourself, what is she struggling with? This is like your formula. What is she struggling with? What does she think the solution to this problem is? And what do you know the solution actually is for her? So when you go back through this training, that's the exact formula I used for this masterclass, right? That's how you get people to relate and feel like, oh, yeah, this is me, right? And that is how you provide value also for the people who are not ready, because they will get value out of it and like your perspective shifts. But your ready client will be like, oh, yes, if I do this way, if I do it this way, right? Like it will just change for me. It's these perspective shifts that she needs to see that makes her realize that it's actually easier than she thought it was, and that you are the person for her. Okay? Does this make sense? Any questions about this? Good? Okay. Step number 3. I'm going to give you perspective shifts on selling. Selling. This was such a big thing for me too, right? But you want to sell. You want to sell. And I know a lot of people have this icky vibe around selling, which was me. But I slowly over time kind of changed my perspective on this, right? You want to offer your service to the world. And often, like I said, we have this weird belief system around selling, and especially when we offer service-based services, it makes us feel like we're taking from someone else. And when I think about it that way, it's like, oh, I just want to hide, and I don't want to sell, and it's like so icky, right? We really don't want to do it. However, when you look at quantum physics, which I just love, I voluntarily read books on quantum physics, and I just love it. I'm reading what is it called? Quantum Warrior right now by John Kehoe. So, I don't know how to pronounce it, but Quantum Warrior, and it's on quantum physics, and it's so good. Anyways, when you look at it that way, it's that every desire has its counterpart to make that desire a reality, right? So for every client that you desire, that client desires you as her coach to transform and move forward on her soul's journey, right? For example. And this can play out in different ways. And of course, there's divine timing involved as well. We have free will, but I also believe that it's kind of like this, we don't know, right? We have no idea. We're not God. We're not the universe. We're not the divine, right? We won't get into that right now. But for you to not sell your service, how are people going to know that they can work with you, right? How are clients going to know what to do to sign up with you? Like, your desire to start your business and to grow your business and to help people know what you know, right? There has to be some kind of selling involved. And it can actually feel really good, because when you approach step 1 and step 2 from a place of, I am actually really good at what I do, right? Step 1. And then step 2, you're positioning yourself as the expert. I don't really like that word, but you're positioning yourself as, this is what I do for my clients, and you're only speaking to that ready person. When people reach out to you, you're now in the position of, is this a really good fit for my program and my offer, right? You make the call. It's not like, oh, someone reached out, I really have to sell to them, right? It's more like, ooh, someone reached out, let me see if I can really help them with my offer by just asking them a few questions. You see how that's a totally different vibe where you decide? And another thing is, when you think about it, the woman who you are speaking to in your content is already ready. She's ready now. So she wants to be sold to, right? Because she wants the solution to her problem right now, which is you. She's ready for it. Your people want to hear from you. They want to be on a free call, like a consult with you. They want to pay you and sign up for your offering because it's going to help them get to where they want to go, right? Like my coach, she was saying, yeah, but you're really talking to the people who value the transformation that they're getting more than they value the money. So it's like, you know, that like blew my mind. And since you're already speaking to the woman who knows the value of investing in herself, it makes sense, right? You're not speaking to the people who don't get it or don't want your offer. That's why we do step 1. And then this is, of course, the thoughts and mindset shifts that you bring to step 1 first, right? When you do your daily mindset and inner work practice. So this becomes more of a normal thought process for you. Got it? Karen says, I think it's important to identify our clients' needs and really listen. Not get caught up in our emotions. Yes. I think because of my busy retail job, I get overwhelmed and I struggle to slow down. So to get clear is so important. I think it will also make me happier with clients, have more energy instead of being overwhelmed. With the past 2 years being so rough, I think what I have to offer can help alleviate stress and bring more fun and joy. Yeah, exactly. So you are in this process right now of getting really clear on what's possible, right? What we talked about. And yeah, exactly. Assigning a client, it is exciting. And I feel like we get in our own way so much, myself included. And amazing, Karen. I love it. Yeah, post in the group if you want to be held accountable by us. Amazing. I love it. Yeah, and I feel like, what do I want to say? It's so easy to feel like, oh my God, but what if I have all these clients and I already have a job, and how am I going to manage all that? It's like we're creating problems that are not even there yet, right? We're worrying about the future, whereas what if we trusted that we will figure it out, right? Because I really had to think about that with maternity leave coming up in not until May, end of April, depending on when the baby comes. We're due April 22nd, which is Earth Day, which is really cool. But I really have to think about, but I want to sign, I want to work with a few more clients right now, right? Like I have the energy for it right now. When I have a baby, I don't know what that's really going to be like, because I've never had a baby. I don't know what my energy levels will be like. But then it's easy to get in your own way and think, but oh my God, what if I sign more clients? Am I going to be overwhelmed? And I offer intensives. So when I my coaching container starts with like a 2-3 hour intensive. So we can get really clear and we go really deep and like set my client up for the inner work and like the bigger vision, right? And I'm like, oh my God, but I have to do all these intensives. And it's like, yeah, but just go look at your calendar and see like there is time for it, right? Just schedule it in. There's no problem, right? That's kind of how you can handle that overwhelm. Does that make sense? Yeah. 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 And the wavering, it's a practice. Exactly. And then also the baby steps, Karen is saying it's important to take baby steps. Yeah, because you're probably not going to go, like, I don't know. I just always feel like people want 10K months or whatever, right? It's hard to go. Sometimes it's hard to like shift there really quickly, but with baby steps, you like marinate yourself in it. I don't know. Does that make sense? So I want to go back to the steps. What these steps will help you do is keep the momentum going, right? It's kind of like a cycle. And it's like Karen was saying too, you're staying committed to your inner work, which in turn keeps you in the momentum of doing the action steps to create what you desire, right? Because when you do that inner work, automatically you get to do your business non-negotiables, I call them, right? Like what we talked about, sharing valuable content, growing your network, taking care of your clients, of course, doing whatever it takes in your lane, right? And oh, this is so good. you're doing whatever is in your lane, right? You're doing whatever it takes. And then the inner work that you're doing has you trusting that the universe does the rest, right? You get that? Let that one land. Baby steps to slowly increase the speed. Yeah, exactly. And you don't have, it doesn't mean you have to do more, right? It's just different. So step one, doing that mindset and belief practice work is really the driver for all these things. It's the foundational piece, right? But step 2 and 3, they also need to happen. Not only that your people can find you and see you as their coach, right? But also when you turn it back to you, you become more clear over time to who you are speaking to, what you love to talk about and help people with, right? And then you can shift from there and level up from there and adjust from there. But it has to start with you. It all starts with you being that unwavering presence that your clients really want from you, right? It's all interconnected and moving together. And I hope you can see that now. But that's how you create a client. Do your inner work, because that's going to affect how you show up, the vibe you're in, how receptive you are. You do the work, right? You know what the work is. You post online. You send out a newsletter. You do a video, a live video. You do a podcast episode, whatever, right? Commit to those steps. Speak to the woman who's ready and sell your offer, right? And you do that over and over and over again. And you keep bringing yourself back to that place of being unwavering, right? And when you waver, bring yourself back. When you waver, bring yourself back. And then clarity, that clarity on what to do each day, which is really, again, doing your inner work, growing your community, selling to your community, right? You can do this a few times a week. It doesn't have to be every day. But that clarity is what's going to create clients for you, right? You're clear on what your offer is, what you are here to do, who your client is, who to speak to, right? What that process is for them. Makes sense, right? It's actually really easy. But we get so in our head, and then we see all these people online saying we need to do this, and we need to do this, and we need to do this. It's really these 3 things, right? Makes sense. So, yeah, let's see. Oh, here's another comment just came through. I have trouble with the taking action part. I'm really committed to the inner work. I can really relate to this. But recently I'm often in a total freeze when it comes to taking action. In a total freeze when it comes to taking action. Gosh, I feel vulnerable saying this. Thank you so much for sharing, even though it feels comfortable, because I feel like this is totally, like, you're a very feminine forward woman, so this is totally normal. So tell me a little bit more about the action piece. What does that look like for you? And Karen, I'll wait for that. And then Karen says, an engagement first before selling, I think. Yeah, so like a back and forth conversation. Yeah, you want to build relationships with people, right? Regardless of if they're going to be a client or not. Excuse me. So one thing about the taking action piece and being in a freeze, I can relate to that because it's like, I don't know how familiar you are with masculine and feminine energy, but to me it's like I am very comfortable in my feminine energy, right? I love to just dream and desire and like manifest, right? It's like this very flowy, fluid energy, right? I'll read your comment. I want to finish what I'm saying because I feel like this may land for you. But without masculine energy, that feminine can become disempowered, right? So I'm not going to get into all this. I can send you, I did a masterclass on this like a couple of months ago. I can send you that one. But when you're too much in your feminine, that freeze can come, right? And what we want to do is bring our masculine kind of on board, because when we commit to taking the action and allowing our masculine to support us that way, right? Because the masculine is all about taking action, then it will feel so much better because we're actually creating something so that we can receive more, right? Does that make sense? Let me read. Being consistent and present in social media. I'm scared of falling into the overwhelm of social media and losing what makes me me. Yeah, totally. I saw the masterclass. Oh, good. Cool. I love it. Yeah. So being consistent. Okay. So when you say what makes you, you, right? That's your purpose. And how do I want to say this? It's like, how do I want to say this? How will you know when you can create a plan for yourself? Okay, here's the thing. Your purpose is what makes you you, right? You don't want to lose what makes you you. And when you think of social media and you want to be consistent, right? What fits in that purpose for you? What makes you you? Does it mean posting twice a day? Probably not, right? I don't do that. What makes you you when it comes to social media? What will not overwhelm you? What can you commit to that will not overwhelm you? So for example, maybe you want to schedule in your calendar that you want to post 2 times a week and you want to send out 1 newsletter, right? When you stick to that, you probably won't feel overwhelmed. But where the overwhelm comes from is that you think you need to do more, I think, right? And that's very what happens with feminine focused business owners. We feel like we need to do more to make it work. But can we commit to, for example, right? You have to figure out what this means for you. When I commit to doing 2 posts a week, that's enough. Does that make sense? How can you fit it in so you don't lose what makes you you, is what I'm trying to say, right? How being consistent doesn't mean that you have to do what other people are doing, right? Yeah, it's never enough. Yeah. So being consistent, I feel like a more helpful way of looking at it is, what can you commit to that fits in your life? And how can you decide that that's enough, right? What will lock that in for you that that's enough? And those are great journaling questions. So you may have to come back to this part and then just jot it down. But the never enough piece, that's a mindset too, right? So what if you started playing with, I'm doing a post today and it's enough, right? And really feel the feelings. Even though it's uncomfortable, I know you can handle that discomfort, right? Because sometimes it is comfortable. I'm not going to lie and sit here, it's all unicorns and rainbows, right? Sometimes it sucks. And what would that change if you think posting on Monday and Thursday, and I'm posting on Monday, that's enough. And I don't have to post till Thursday, and it's going to be so amazing because now I have a few days that I can just, feel inspired again, and my post from Monday is obviously going to create results for me. So, you see what I mean? What if that's a possibility? You kind of just want to see what else is possible there for you. Get it? Does that make sense? And you are also part of the paradigm that doing more doesn't necessarily create the results. Okay? We are part of the paradigm where we take potent action. You're welcome. I'm glad you love that. I'm glad that's landing. So we are part of the paradigm where we take potent action, where an action we took 3 months ago is still creating changes for our people, and people can still find it. And you see how that's like such, it just makes me feel like, so relieved, right? So I want to end the masterclass on that note, and I'm going to give you a little invitation. If you feel complete, you can totally hop off. I'm only going to stay on for like a minute or so. But if you've been listening to this and you are thinking to yourself, yes, I am so ready to simplify, and instead of just trying all these different things and hoping they will work, but you're not really sure, right? And you want clarity, you want a simple business model, simple inner work and mindset practice that I just shared with you, really simple business tasks that you do each day and each week. I can show you that process, what that will look like for your business on a consult call. These are about 30 minutes. We'll probably go over a little bit because I like talking to you, right? And hear about your business. Yeah, they're super valuable because I'm really committed to helping you shift the perspectives of yourself and your business and your clients so that you can feel like you're really turning your purpose into a profitable business, right? So I'll drop the link. I'll pop it in here for you. If you don't see a time that works for you, just shoot me a message on Facebook or Instagram. We'll figure something out. And then if you have any questions about that, we will just chat about your business. We will chat about where you want to go this year, what that looks like for you. And then if it feels like, yeah, you want to take that a little step further, we can chat about working one-on-one. So my package is 6 months, but because I'm taking maternity, I can never pronounce this, you guys. Because I'm taking maternity leave, it's actually going to be an 8-month package, like container. So you get like 2 extra months, which is really cool. So if you want that, there's the link. And then if you have any more questions, if you go through the replay again, if you have any more questions, just pop a comment or send me a message and I will be there for you. And thank you so much for being here with me. And I can't wait to see you soon. Talk soon. Bye. Oh, the consult is free. It's free. The 30 minutes is free. Good question. Any more questions? I will stay on for another minute. Yeah, so it's 30 minutes. I'll probably go over a little bit because, well, it depends. Like maybe you're very concise in your answers, you know? Let's just chat about where you want to go in your business, what your struggles are, right? And see what we can do. You are so welcome. Yay. I'm so glad it was helpful. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.